Hello everybody, and once again, welcome to Virtual Church. Yes, well, as I was saying, welcome to Virtual Church. We have arrived. Zadok the priest has arrived. And Nathan the prophet, they're all here. And the King of Kings is here as well. That was arranged by my good self. Am I a good self? I don't know. I am now. Just for tonight, anyway. There it is, look. There it is. You could buy this PDF, if you so wish, with a little bit of an introduction there. You don't get my markings, by the way. Unless you want them, I can send you my markings, but they'll be useless on your organ. It's rather playable on the whole, I would say. It's one of the easier arrangements, but actually I think you'll agree it's rather effective. I think 30,000 views on my upload that I'd put on Thursday is evidence that actually it's a pretty effective thing. So yeah, so what have we got today? Well, you're not going to be overly surprised that we've got a bunch of hymns coming your way. Not all for the coronation. I know some of you out there aren't that interested in our monarchy. But we'll have some hymns relevant to the coronation, which occurred yesterday, and some organ music as well. In fact, most of the organ music will be sort of coronation friendly. But let's start with the first hymn, because after all, the title of this virtual church is Royal Coronation Hymns and Organ Music. So let's start with one of the hymns that we had at the coronation yesterday, a wonderful hymn that we all know so well. Christ is made the sure foundation, Christ our head and cornerstone, to the tune rather appropriately named Westminster Abbey. And wasn't the final verse wonderful? Arranged by James O'Donnell. That was a nice touch, actually. I think that was a really nice touch, because James had been organist and director, master of the choristers at Westminster Abbey for over 20 years. Left late last year, just after the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II, and then of course just missed out on the coronation, which is a bit of a shame. But he actually did arrange a final verse of this, which I don't have. I'll get it and then I'll play it, and it was rather effective. But let's just do our own thing with it, shall we? Tune is called Westminster Abbey, ends by Purcell, Henry Purcell. By gum, let's go for this one. final amen at the end there, plagal cadence in this wonderful hymn. So, yes, I just opened with Zadok the priest, and I realised that I forgot to tell you that I played that tonight at down in Romsey Abbey as a voluntary. And it's funny because it was a civic service down there, so it was quite a full nave, a couple of hundred people there I expect, and the choir. And I played the Zadok at the end, started it, as you'd expect. In fact, the final thing we did was the national anthem. It ended on a big G major chord, gave it a little bit of space, and then just press the general button. And it lasts about 4 or 5 minutes, and nobody moved. And there was a little bit, I just thought, oh, people are actually listening to this, so I better play it properly. So actually, that was quite a thing, seeing the congregation all the way down on my left, just not moving an inch. And I really kept my organ scholar busy, because obviously there's a crescendo through the first couple of pages, and I hadn't set anything up, which I don't normally do, because I just like to sort of do it live, as I do here. And I was telling my organ scholar to add things at certain points, and so by the time we got to the choir entry, we were on full organ. It was very exciting seeing him sort of pull out the stops. So anybody in the chat who is interested in being my organ scholar might have to get used to pulling out stops for me and being asked to do things at the last minute. Reeds, diapason, no, the other one. And we have a fun thing called a tuba watch. So there's a wonderful tuba on the organ at Romsey. It's not actually too dissimilar to the sound of that, actually. Obviously, there isn't the massive acoustic at Romsey. And we have tuba watch because by default, I'm waffling, but I won't waffle too much. And this is without my Lemsip. By default, I have choir to grate and choir to pedal on, because I use the choir foundation stops as a secondary grate, which is actually a sort of a nice one. So you add the choir stops into the mix, then add the grate stops, because the grate stops are bigger. So you actually have two grates, if you like. Anyway, for another time. And the tuba is on the choir, and of course, if I'm building up a crescendo, sort of MF, and I've got the choir 8 and 4s out, and the great 8 and 4s, and maybe the 2 foot, and a bit of swell, and I think, oh, I want the tuba. If I yank on the tuba, of course, choir to grate and choir to pedal are already out, and it comes with a bit of a shock. So I have to say to him, tuba watch, be on tuba watch, and he has to make sure that the choir, all the couplers are basically in, so we can pull out that big tuba. Anyway, let's crack on with some more hymns, because that's what you're here for, isn't it? You're not here for me to be talking about choir to grate couplers, as exciting as that is. Let's go into our first request. So that was a request from me for yesterday, so Coronation. So the first hymn requested comes in from, I don't know who, which is a shame. So whoever requested this hymn, if you're in the chat, do give me a shout, say hello. You put your request where you should put your name, basically. Hey ho. It is Rejoice, the Lord is King. Your Lord and King adore. Rejoice, give thanks and sing, and a triumph evermore. Lift up your heart, lift up your voice. Rejoice again, I say, rejoice. To the tune Darwell, and words are by Charles Wesley. And this mysterious requester says, a hymn for the coronation also introducing a more common tune used in these parts of the world for this hymn. Not quite sure where in the world you are, Mr. Mysterious requestor, so perhaps let us know where you are in the world and your name. Here we go. Let's stop talking. I should say it's quite comical actually, because whenever I play Dudelange, whenever I play it, regulars in the chat will attest to this, but whenever I play it, someone always says the volume's too low. Now, I can tell you why. So all of you watching right now, all of you, over 200 of you watching, okay, that's a big congregation. That's like a full church. All right, listen to this very carefully. And whenever in the future someone says volume is too low, this is what you should say to them. So this organ goes from extremely quiet to extremely loud. And I can assure you that the loudest chord on this organ, so everything pulled out with the chamades and the tuba coupled together, is at the very, very upper limit of what's possible before we introduce what's called audio clipping. If you go past 0 dB, if you go like to plus 1 dB, you will get a crack, a distortion, okay? So I've made sure that the very loudest chord does not exceed minus 0.1 dB, all right? So this organ quite simply cannot go any louder. Now, this is what I'm going to demonstrate to you. What I can actually just do is, the problem is I haven't played this organ for so long on live on the channel that there's every chance that something may have slipped. But let me just demonstrate. So I'm going to play you, listen very, very carefully, okay? Listen very carefully. I'm going to play you a very quiet sound, and then I'm going to play you a very loud sound, so you can hear the difference. It's incredible. And after that, actually, I'm going to give you some news about this organ. Very exciting news. Okay, so listen to how quiet this goes. You can turn up, okay? You feel free, if you want, to turn up. You're safe, I promise. Listen to this. Okay, now I'm going to warn you that those of you who've turned up your systems will need to turn them down, because this is the other end of the scale. All right, let me demonstrate. I'm going to show you how versatile this instrument is. Hey, are you ready? Best Hautwerk sample set there is on a full organ sounds like this. And I can tell you now, and those people in the chat, or those people who've been here in this room, That is an astonishing sound in here. And I was looking at the levels and they were at the very upper end of where I want them to be. How cool is this organ? This is just, I am in heaven with this organ. And I'll tell you what, after this next hymn, requested by Roger Richards, I will just give you a little bit of news about this organ. There's a lot of people watching who are Hautwerkers, who have a Hautwerk system at home, and a lot of people who have this sample set, and a lot of people who are waiting to buy it. So those people who are interested in this organ, let me tell you something about it. Okay, it won't take me long. I'm going to play this next hymn from Roger Richards, who says, "This hymn addresses us in our human need with the invitation in the refrain, 'I will arise and go to Jesus.' The words in the first verse are, 'Come, ye sinners, poor and needy, weak and wounded, sick and sore. Jesus, ready, stands to save you, full of pity, love, and power.' And the refrain is, 'I will arise and go to Jesus. He will embrace me with his arms. In the arms of my dear Saviour, oh, there are 10,000 charms.'" And it's been requested by Roger Richards. Let's explore some of the mutations. So these are some of the quieter stops on the on this beast. A very nice beast it is, isn't it? A beast in a good way, a friendly beast, but a raging beast at that. Fantastic tune. I've never heard that one before, Roger. That's a really wonderful tune. Daniel, I think it was Daniel who said it sounded a little bit Irish. Let me get my mouse working so I can just zoom up. That was nice though. A very nice tune. I didn't know it at all. Did anyone know that? It's called Restoration by. Oh, it doesn't say. It says it's from The Southern Harmony, 1835, harmonised by Charles Webb in 1937. Words by Joseph Hart there. Somebody asked how many pages my arrangement of Zadok the Priest is. It's 10 pages, as Jerry has just said. You know, if you can literally. Have you heard of something called Chat GPT? It's this AI system which has taken the world by storm. You can ask it anything and it will come up with an extraordinary answer. Jerry is like Chat GPT. You can ask him anything and he will come up with the most thoughtful, intelligent answer that you could ever wish for. It's amazing. It's such an incredible mind. So I did say that I would say something about this organ. So this is Dudelange. Just bear with me if you're not particularly interested in what I'm playing. You just like to listen to what I'm playing. But actually you might find this interesting. So this is an organ called Dudelange in Luxembourg. It's big. It's a large organ. I can give you a little bit of a. So can I show you? Can I show you? Let me show you. Let me see if I can show you. If I press that, what happens? Can you still hear me? Well, that's not a very exciting screen, is it? Let me just change the screen very quickly. Bear with me. Don't worry, I'm not going to get back to the hymns very, very shortly. This is the console. This is what I was just going to show you, this screen here. So this is how big the organ is. All those stops. I mean, look, that's just stops everywhere. It's big, you know, and you can see on my console how many stops there are here on the grate. This is the choir. And then also the choir there as well. It doesn't even fit in one jam. This organ is my absolute favourite sample set, without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, and whenever I invite people to come around to BIS and I want to really impress them, this is the one that is loaded up straight away. Now, this organ is currently only available in stereo, okay? However, I had a message from Voxus themselves, from Marion, who's a friend of mine, who said that the surround version is ready. And this is the exciting thing. I have it. Now, I haven't installed it. And what I mean by that is, it's even better than this old surround version. This is a surround version. It's even better. So they've redone it, and apparently it just sounds even better than this. So, imminently, you will be able to buy the surround version of this organ. And as an experienced player of sample sets, I can say this is the most diverse, capable organ you can simply get for the software. It's streets ahead of anything else you can buy. Anything. So yes, I will give you more information very, very soon when I'm allowed to. I don't know a release date yet, but it's within days. So if you're waiting to purchase this organ, you can actually now start to think about the finances. I don't know how much it costs actually, but it's worth every penny. This organ has put me into heaven. Honestly, I would buy this organ 5 times over because it's just fantastic. Adam, simply Adam, has asked for Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. Early in the morning, our song shall rise to thee. To the tune Nicaea. And as you will probably know, you might not, but you might have forgotten, this was the very first hymn I ever played in public. And I always remember that. So whenever this hymn comes up, And in a request, I always remember that experience of playing this hymn in public. And I was terrified. In fact, I even have, those are my markings there. So I had a general for each verse. Right, let's go. Holy, 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 Lord God Almighty. What a wonderful tune. Wonderful tune. Thank you very much, Adam, for reminding me of my very first outing as an organist in a place, I think it was in Lincolnshire, in an old church called in Tattershall. Does anyone here know of Tattershall? There's a church next to a castle. It was in there. Right, let's go on to our next one. We're going to have quite a bit of organ music later as well, you know. So I hope you're sitting tight. I do realise actually also there's a big concert being streamed live on the BBC, the Coronation concert. So I do appreciate those people who are watching BIS. Rather than that, I'll probably go back and watch the concert at a later date on catch up. I think Lang Lang is playing, which is pretty cool. He's a good player. Bit better than me. Thank you very much for your donations tonight, by the way, guys. So I'd like to chat more. I just, you know, sometimes think that I want to catch up with you and just chat with you about stuff, about organs, and I haven't done many talking videos recently, have I? I used to do quite a few, you know, talking videos, but maybe I should do more of those. Right, so the next one comes in from Norm Barncut. Apologies if that's pronounced incorrectly, Norm. But you've said, we've dug up a collection of old music for an anniversary service. This one is new to me, and I was wondering if it was new to me and what I think of it. Well, I think it probably is new. I don't know, we'll see. I'll let you know afterwards. The tune is called Eversley, and it's, "O Father, hear my morning prayer. Thy aid impart to me, that I may make my life today acceptable to thee." Words are by Arthur Cotman, and the music is by Arthur Cotman, and the words are by Francis Percy. Let's have a solo stop at the beginning, so we can get used to the tune. Okay, that'll do. Thank you very much, Norm. There we go. So a very new tune to me. Not a new tune as in composition date. I expect it's probably quite old, but it's new to me. Very simple. Some interesting harmony, particularly in the second bar there. That D sharp. It's a bit of a surprise, isn't it? And then in the second line, third line of words, I mean. Yeah, interesting harmony, but very singable, I think. I think the congregation would pick it up fairly quickly. That's nice. That's nice. And then a sequence. A very inoffensive tune. A very nice tune. So Norm, yes, I liked it. Just want to welcome anyone who's new tonight, anyone who's been in the chat for the first time. You are all very welcome. If you are new, please do let me know and we will give you a shout out. Thank you to Josh Wilson, who's helping me behind the scenes today with the producing of today's VC. Really appreciate that, my friend. So Josh will capture anyone who's new and I will give you a very friendly shout out. Parish Brown, thank you very much for your 25. Glad to have found this site. Well, I'm glad to have found you. So you are very welcome. Thank you very much for your donation. YouTube tells me that is your very first donation to BIS. So thank you very much. Barry, thank you very much for your 100. Wow, it's very nice to have a red donation. Thank you very much, Barry. Good to see you. We should have a catch up at some point. And yeah, so anyone else who's new, please do let me know. Right, what's Peter Bray asking for? Belfry Praise. I think we've got that logged, haven't we, Josh? Yeah, we've got that one logged. There it is. It's coming up later on. Fantastic. Daniel Kubaki, our organist extraordinaire from America, who often sends me pictures of the largest organ in the world. Yes, the largest, even bigger than this one. I know it's hard to believe. There is an organ bigger than this. It's in Philadelphia. It's in a store called Macy's. Basically, like people in this country. If you imagine those of you up north, Meadow Hall. You know what Meadow Hall is? It's a shopping centre. People down in Southampton, Hampshire, West Key. Any indoor shopping centre. Think of that. But then think of that shopping centre, but in the sort of the main lobby area where you eat your food and stuff. You might have a little snack and a McDonald's, or maybe not these days. Don't know, something healthy. You're sitting there, and just up there is the biggest organ in the world, biggest pipe organ in the world. It's ridiculous, ridiculous. It's in a shopping centre, and I've yet to hear it. And I'd love to hear it. So, look, if anyone can get me over to America to go and play that organ, that would just be a dream come true, a real dream come true. Make it so. Have you got anyone who owns an airliner? You can just fly me over. That'd be epic. Take some microphones and go and record it. Wow. That's something to aspire to, isn't it? So Daniel, the reason I'm telling you all of that is because Daniel Kabaki goes there regularly and sends me pictures of him there and makes me very jealous. So thank you very much, Daniel, for doing that. Here he said here, this is a great communion hymn by Orlando Gibbons. This is in the great key of B minor. It is a great key, actually. There's a couple of pieces in B minor. There's that. Of course, there's a Mass in B minor by Bach as well. There's the Pièce Héroïque in B minor. There's the Chorale number 3 by César Franck in B minor. A lot of things in B minor. Isn't there an amazing a piano sonata, piano concerto, piano sonata by Roibka in B minor as well? I think that's in B minor. The Gigu Toccata. Anyway, B minor. So he says, I will be requesting all the Gibbons hymns in the NEH. I love Orlando Gibbons. Oh, I will look forward to hearing them. It's come, risen Lord, and deign to be our guest. Nay, let us be thy guests. The feast is thine. Thyself at thine own board make manifest. in thine own sacrament of bread and wine. Oh, it's list, Ian, isn't it? So what am I thinking of that of Roebke then? He wrote something like that, a big piano sonata. Was that not in B minor? You'll let me know, won't you? You, the chat. Cool, then let's have this beautiful, beautiful piece by Orlando Gibbons, an English Tudor composer from the late 16th, early 17th century. So pretty much contemporary of Buxtehude. No, earlier than Buxtehude. Yeah, so before Bach. Bach wasn't even born when Gibbons was composing. And England was going through its turmoil of politics and religion. That was way before Bach was around. And this is what Gibbons came up with, whilst sat outside enjoying a strong pint, I expect. We just had confirmation. We like to get things right here on PIS. Doesn't always happen. We have had confirmation from Ian Garden that the Roebke piano sonata is actually in B flat minor, an even better key in my view than B minor. If you just listen to the sonority of B flat minor. has a real sense of darkness about it. But listen to the same sort of thing in B minor. Somehow it sounds a bit brighter. Listen to this, see whether you agree. Are you getting that? Do you get the sense of things being bright or not? It's really interesting actually, because I hear certain keys and think it sounds really bright. Like a D flat major isn't a bright key, it's just a wonderfully warm, and it wraps its arms right around you. But D major is a bit more sort of, a bit more independent, if you like. No, I'm bright enough, I'm the sunshine. I'm making you feel bright and warm. But D flat is more like down on earth and just a bit more, it has a bit more gravitas to it somehow, a bit more colour and a bit more depth. What on earth am I talking about? There's a thing called synesthesia, where you actually see colours. I think that's the equivalent thing in music. So thank you, Daniel, for your request there. Oh, here we can actually have a bit of fun with this next one. This is an old favourite here on VC. It's "And Can It Be" that I should gain. And it comes in from Thomas Playfoot. That's a great name, I should say. Are you? Please tell me you're an organist with a surname. If it's your surname of Playfoot, that's fantastic. There's an organist based in Leeds called David Pipe. I think he was just destined to be an organist, wasn't he, really? And can it be that I should gain an interest in the Saviour's blood? And Thomas simply says that, love this superb hymn. I think we all do. And this is what it sounds like. It's always a popular hymn here on VC. We actually now go into our final pre-requested hymn this week. And it comes in from Dan Marshall. Where is it? Where is it in my hymnal? It should be at the top. There it is. So it's in D flat major. It's you satisfy the hungry heart with gift of finest wheat. Come, give to us, O saving Lord, the bread of life to eat. There's a page turn here. That is the refrain. The first verse is, as when the shepherd calls his sheep, they know and heed his voice. So when you call your family, Lord, we follow and rejoice. The music is by Robert Kriotz. It's called Bicentennial. And Dan says this. Daniel actually was the, I think, Dan, you did our top 5 last week. He says, I mentioned at the last VC that D flat major is my favourite key on the organ, and I immediately thought of this hymn. It's one of the few in my hymnal originally composed in that key. If you don't mind me being cheeky, and also including a second request, I've been dying to listen to something, and he wants to hear it again. Okay, well, if we have time, we'll have your second request. Let's keep it a secret for now. So here we go. Let's listen to this. You satisfy the hungry heart. So let's get some nice stops. Luckily for us, there are lots of those. Lots and lots of nice stops on this organ. Are you all okay? Are you all happy? Have you all had a good weekend? Sorry that I've not really been able to see what's going on in the chat. I haven't got anyone with me yet tonight. Caroline's obviously upstairs or looking after Hugo or falling asleep or something. So I hope you're chatting. Hope you're chatting away nicely. Please just tell me something. Tell me something interesting. And Josh will pick up the most interesting thing and put it in our chat, Josh. Here we go. Let's have a listen to this. Beautiful tune. Thank you very much, Dan, for sending it through. Really beautiful. Okay, so I think we should just have a little bit of an organ piece now, just to break up the first section. So that was the pre-requests. Now we're going to go into my favourite, and I think it's our favourite as well. It is the top 5. I'm just sort of trying to multitask here. I can't do it very successfully, unfortunately. There it is. Right, so top 5 is coming up. I put a shout out last week for some top 5s, and we had a good number of them sent in. So we have a good selection of top 5s. Basically, opened up the inbox, I went for the first one that I came across. So tonight we're going to have a top 5 sent in by Scott Flanagan, who's sent in a very nice top 5 list. And I chose this one particularly because of his number 1. It's a great hymn, and it will work extremely well on this organ. So we have to wait to see what it is. That's not just sort of me teasing. Well, it is a tease, but it's the truth. It's a really, really, really good number 1. But let's just have a little bit of a break from hymns and have a very cheeky, it's not really that cheeky, but you know what I mean, organ piece. It's also not an organ piece, but it has here been arranged for the instrument. And you'll all know it. And it was played yesterday, of course. That's why I'm playing it. Great, isn't it? Great. Elgar really knew what he was doing when he was writing those sort of those tunes, didn't he? He really knew what he was doing. So that was Pomp and Circumstance number 4, as played at the end of the coronation yesterday for King Charles III, as he was processing out. And there's a few more organ pieces up my sleeve yet. So unless we probably have had some requested as well. But we do our top 5 now from Scott Flanagan, and then we're going to get into the live requests after our top 5. So let's make a start on today's top 5. He says, Dear Richard and Caroline, the BIS Virtual Church has become part of my weekly routine, and listen to it as I plan out and review my next week's schedule. Picking out a set of top 5 hymns is not an easy task, but after thinking and reviewing it for a couple of weeks, I have finally come up with a top 5. I'm glad to hear it, and here it is. So number 5 on my list is, if you've got the ELW to hand, it's quite a popular hymn book here on BIS. ELW, the Evangelical Lutheran Worship, which I've played in its entirety. Gosh, that was hard. That was not saying that the hymns in it were terrible. That was just me thinking, crikey, that was a long one. So number 5 on my list is ELW 781, Children of the Heavenly Father. I picked this one in honor of my church in Fremont, Nebraska. I came to Sinai, it's a Sinai Lutheran. I came to Sinai as a college student in 2003. Little did I know the plans God had in store for me, but through it all, my Sinai family has been some of the strongest and biggest supporters and encouragers. Children of the Heavenly Father is a key hymn in our church, and we are, sorry, my eyes are going funny, and is a key hymn in our church, as we are a strong Swedish Lutheran church. There we go. I got my words out in the end. So children of the Heavenly Father, safely in his bosom gather, nestling bird nor star in heaven, such a refuge over was given. And it is, as Scott said, well, this is a Swedish traditional. So let's start it quietly and go from there. Beautifully short, isn't it? The only time I played that was for the marathon. This does sound vaguely familiar. I think possibly we've had it before. Can't remember. But anyway, that was number 5 on Scott's list. We go into number 4, and he says, in 2013, I took my first organ lesson from our church organist, as our church was looking into building a new pipe organ, and I wanted to be knowledgeable on the organ, and it had been a pipe dream to learn and play the organ. Now, 10 years later, I am working towards my AGO service playing certification. As part of it, I am learning Rafe Vaughan Williams' Old Hundredth because of hearing me play it. That's very kind. Well, if you want to hear me play it again, then you shall. In your top 5, so I really must play it. I didn't have this one yesterday at the Coronation.
They only had 2 hymns, didn't they?
Yeah, we had one of them that we opened.
I heard. Westminster Abbey.
Did? I was just saying that I didn't.
Hello everyone, by the way.
I didn't. Yeah, that's Caroline talking.
And eating an orange.
Scoffing a mouthful of tangerine. Yep.
We had a feral toddler tonight. I couldn't get him to go to sleep. That's why I'm late.
Have you got your microphone on?
It's here.
Okay. A feral toddler.
He just wouldn't go to sleep. He was too excited about something. I don't know what.
Oh, that's all right. So he's had a really good day today, isn't he? Okay, so it is all people that on earth do dwell. Bit rowdy, this one. It does ask at the very beginning for all available trumpets. And that's a very dangerous thing to ask for when playing the organ of Dudelange. Anyway.
I had a question come in during that from Gerrit, our friend Gerrit in the Netherlands. He would like to know, is finally the surround version of Dudelange about to be released by Voxus? And I said I would ask you to expand if you were allowed to.
I did expand earlier on in the VC, so what I suggest you do is either rewind now or wait until after the video is finished, and then you can sort of flick back. I do explain, but yes, the surround version is very imminent.
Incoming.
This is not it. This is a surround version, but this is an early version of the surround version.
They've improved it again, haven't they, Richard?
They've apparently made it entirely. I don't know how it can be improved, frankly, but it is, and I can't wait to install it this week. So it is available very soon, and believe me, I will post about it when it is available to buy. Okay, so number 3 in Scott's list, he says, and this is a bit of a sad one, actually. In the fall of 2017, I was diagnosed with a neurological voice disorder that changed my life completely, as it makes talking difficult and robbed me of the ability to sing. And I had sung in choirs ever since I was a kid and went to college on a vocal scholarship. One of the hymns I've learned is back in ELW, number 635. We walk by faith and not by sight. As I have navigated the past 6 years, I keep in mind that God has a plan in all of this, and I need to have faith in that, even though I can see or know, or even though I can't see or know what the plan is. So it's in ELW, it's number 635. I've got it here, and it's, we walk by faith and not by sight. With gracious words draw near. O Christ, you spoke as none ever spoke. May peace be with you here. The tune is called Shanty. It's by Marty Haugen, and the words are by Henry Alford. So if you'd like to get some live requests in for later on in VC, after this section, please do leave a super chat in the chat. It can be for any amount, and we will play it later on. But for now, it's we walk by faith and not by sight. A beautiful hymn there, and sorry about the little slip in the final verse. Beautiful hymn there by Marty Haugen called Shanty. That was number 3 in Scott's list. And now going to have number 2. 2 fantastic hymns coming right up. So number 2 and number 1 could equally be my number 1. So number 2 in Scott's list is, a couple of years ago I took a masterclass with my organ instructor on simple improvisation. As part of the class, each of us had to pick a hymn and come up with variations on our own for each stanza of text. I chose ELW 632, so quickly turn to that hymn. O God, our help in ages past. One of my favourite variations that I came up with was moving it into the minor key for one verse. Oh, that's interesting. I shan't do that today. But it is, O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our shelter from the stormy blast, and our eternal home. I'm always reminded of, when I play this hymn now, of a wonderfully powerful rendition of this by Virgil Fox. It's on YouTube. He plays it extremely slow. He almost plays it at half speed, and there's a soprano singing along with him, and I just think, oh, she must have lungs of steel to be able to. I won't play it as slow as he played it, but you can find it, I think, quite easily, I expect. It's worth checking out. So here we go to the wonderful tune St. Anne. This is number 2 in Scott's list. Great hymn, this. Fantastic.
I think Blackburn's exciting, but I have to say that build up in here of Dudelange was quite epic. That was the word I used in the chat.
Yeah.
It was epic.
It's all the organ. There's no other organ like it. But well, I think there is actually. Martin Baker, when he played it, thought it was very similar to Westminster Abbey, in that there is this division. It's the string division, which you can have with full swell underneath it. So full swell is underneath that, and then you open the swell and listen to this effect. I didn't take anything off. I just opened the boxes there. Isn't that astonishing? Anyway, that wasn't number one. Number one in the list is my favourite. Now, this tune was played yesterday. It wasn't sung as a hymn, but it was indeed played before the service by the orchestra. In fact, I think the whole suite was played, but we'll have to catch up on that at some point. The whole suite by Holst, the Planets Suite. Now he says, number one is the hymn tune Thaxted. This is hands down my all-time favourite hymn tune and is jokingly referred to as Scott's hymn. I use it as my warm-up hymn, and it can be expected to be played anytime I sub at church if it remotely fits the day. In the ELW, we have two hymns to this tune, but number 710, Let Streams of Living Justice, is my personal favourite. In my day-to-day life, I am a nationally known quilt pattern designer and presenter. Well, there you go. Verse 2 of this hymn speaks directly to me, directly to that, and reminds me we are all part of God's quilt. Weave our varied gifts together, knit our lives as they are spun on your loom of time and rollers till our thread of life is run. O great weaver of our fabric, bind church and world in one. Dye our texture with your radiance, light our colours with your sun. And then Scott says at the end here, please pull out the stops and make it a grand and glorious finish. Let me just have a look at number 710.
Well, you've picked the right organ to do Scott's top 5 on today, I think.
Of course.
A grand and glorious finish.
I think this organ, there's no better organ to do that, is there? So there are 3 verses. Yay, I get to play it 3 times. The words, I vow to thee, my country, of course, only has 2 verses. But let streams of living justice flow down upon the earth. Give freedom's light to captives. Let all the poor have worth. The hungry's hands are pleading. The workers claim their rights. The mourners long for laughter. The blinded seek for sight. Make liberty a beacon. Strike down the iron power. Abolish ancient vengeance. Proclaim your people's hour. The tune Thaxted, and this is number 1 in Scott's list. Right, let's go, shall we? Where shall we start? Let's start with a bit of that, a bit of that, and a bit of that, and that. And a bit of that for good measure. Okay, enjoy, because I certainly shall. What a hymn. Different words. I've never heard those words before or read the words before, so it's nice to actually play the hymn whilst reading different words.
Thank you very much, Scott. Great list.
Great list, Scott. Thank you very much. And that was one of the reasons I chose Scott's list. It was an excellent list, but it ended with that one. And I thought it was a good hymn to have
And
this
of
particular
Vaughan Williams
weekend.
as well was very appropriate.
And the RVW, which is a wonderful list. So, Scott, thank you very much. So we did have a number of hymn top 5 sent to us in the week, but it's always nice to have a backlog of top 5 so we can choose from. It's often good to pick a top 5, which I think might be appropriate for a certain day. So if you haven't sent in your top 5 yet, please do.
There was some chat about the Planets Suite while you were playing that. So interestingly, the Planet Suite, I played the Planet Suite in my university symphony orchestra some years ago. At the end of the Planet Suite, the Neptune movement, the whole piece ends. Holst has a group of about 12 sopranos, and they have to sing these very ethereal, repeated R motifs while the orchestra are doing sort of weird and wonderful, lots of harp, lots of little fiddly bits on the harp, and shimmering strings. As I think he wants a grand diminuendo, and different people do it in different ways, don't they? So when we did it, we got the group of sopranos were walking backwards out of the auditorium, and they gradually closed the doors on them.
That's right. It's like walking into the swell box.
And apparently, in some concert halls, they put them in a lift and put the lift up or down. Apparently.
But the lift is all the way in the lobby out of the.
Well, apparently in some concert halls it can be done in a lift. So I'm told. Maybe it's a lift up and down to the stage, I don't know. But anyway, we were told that when we were doing it. So there's a little bit of trivia for you about. But I think my point is, if you only listen to the Planet Suite on CD or online, you wouldn't appreciate that. So go and hear it live, is my advice. It's really magical at the end.
Did they do that yesterday at the Coronation?
No, because they just didn't play it, did they? Or did they? Did they play the whole suite? No, they just played Jupiter, didn't they?
How long does it all last?
I don't know. It was when I was. Oh, it's quite long. It's about 40. I think they just played Jupiter.
Oh, maybe they would play the whole suite then.
It's about 40 minutes. It's quite a meaty.
Played. Yeah. Great. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Scott. So now we should go into our next section, which is the live requests. This is now where it all becomes a little bit chaotic and a bit carnage fulfilled. So before we go into any more hymn requests, I actually had something sent in to me during the week. By Ollie Solomon. That's a good name. King Solomon. He sent me a request to play something by someone who I'd never heard of before, called Otto Dienel. And this chap, I don't know when his dates are even. When was this chap around? 1839 to 1905. German, I think, by all accounts. And this is 43 Choralvorspiele. And he wants me to play number 26. Let me find it. It's Nun ruhen alle Wälder. And he says, it's very gentle and sounds great with a nice crumb horn in the left hand and an 8-foot principal and flute in the right. Okay, well, your wish is my command. Let's get a couple of flutes out and let's get a principal. Like that.
We also have a Bobby.
And a Bobby's here.
Here's Bobby.
Brilliant. Hi, Bob.
Say hello to everybody. Oh, she's being a bit shy. Hello to her friends around the world. Yes, I'm going to knock your camera.
Once you're doing that, well, don't. Oh no! See, this is what I mean. That wasn't the piece. That wasn't how it goes by Otto Dienel. Okay, so this is Nun ruhen alle Wälder, and it's been requested by Ollie Solomon. It sounds like this. It's quite beautiful, I think. Sight reading. Here goes nothing.
Hold on, Bobby.
we go. Actually,
Very nice.
I'm quite pleased that Ollie's drawn my attention to this book, because it's very useful, being an organist, to have a book of sight-readable, nice chorales up one's sleeve, in case you're caught short and need to play something quick. You know,
Did
just
you tell
in
them what you did on
communion.
Thursday, Evensong?
What I played at Evensong on
I went
Thursday.
along to hear Richard playing at Romsey Abbey for Evensong on Thursday
What
night.
did I play on Thursday? Evensong?
It was May the 4th. Will that jog your memory? I sat down before the service. Richard was doing his, nice, gentle pre-Evensong before the service music, which I was thinking of when he played that piece. And he played "May the Force Be With You" from Star Wars.
It's not.
What's it called then?
John Williams didn't call it "May the Fourth Be With You."
May the Force. I said the Force.
Oh, right.
So he started playing
They
Star
didn't-
Wars.
They didn't write it thinking that this is going to be a hit. This one, and May the Fourth will be all about Star Wars. It's called, it is. It's May the Force Be With You.
I did say the Force, I think.
I know you did, but it sounded like me. It said May the Fourth Be With You.
Anyway,
Right,
so
so
Richard played John Williams.
Where should we go first then? What's our first hymn?
It's Carmen Foster's request. It is the hymn tune Dundee.
The hymn tune Dundee.
I think so.
I can see him asking for "My God, how wonderful Thou art." Is that right? Come on, is that right?
Hymn tune Dundee is what I've got here.
Okay, well, let's assume it's correct. Our producer often is correct, so I hope this is the right one. So it's, well, the tune's correct at least, isn't it? So for Carmen Foster. Second request, okay, right. Well, I don't know what's going on, but we'll play it anyway. Thank you very much, Carmen, for suggesting Dundee. It's God moves in a mysterious way. I think it goes to quite a lot of tunes. It's a wonderful tune, isn't it? The way it just suddenly slips onto D flat major from E flat. That's a wonderful
People
moment.
that in darkness sat have seen a glorious light.
Mm.
Jim Forsyth suggested that, which it is another setting, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it goes through quite a few words. I've played that to numerous tunes. Okay, so I think I'll be going to a request to do with bell ringers. Is that right?
A belfry praise, which is for Peter Bray, I think. Let me just get my...
Is it Unchanging God who livest enthroned in realms on high? To the tune belfry praise. Well, those are the words that I've got on my iPad, and it's basically the tune is based on the peal of bells, which is quite exciting, isn't it?
Well, I think so. As we just had the coronation, I'm sure all the bell ringers in the land were ringing yesterday.
I hope so. Bells galore. Here we go. Unchanging God, who livest enthroned in realms on high, to men the power thou givest, thy name to magnify. We raise the bells for ringing, with a ready mind and will, and come before thee, bringing our hearts, our strength, and our skill. It goes like this. Well, that marks the end of the live requests. I think that's a world record.
There were a lot of bell puns going on in that.
Oh, go on. What was the best one? Who wins
lots
the
of
cheesiest
appealing,
bell
but I think
pun?
Helen would like to say that a peal of bells is probably spelled P-E-A-L. Is that correct? I don't know.
Yes, it is.
Yes, I think people were misspelling the word peal.
Oh,
but
come on, yes, but it works better as you speak it.
appealing and appealing. Yeah, it was fun anyway.
Trust the chat to come up with some naughty puns on bells. Yeah, I bet anything I say, you've already done them. Right, so, well, if you don't want to request any more hymns,
banana peels, bananas.
I'm going to play one more hymn myself, and then Caroline and I will do a duet. So hopefully that might, hopefully you'll enjoy that. Okay, so the other hymn, because there were only 2 hymns sung yesterday. There's a long service, lots and lots of music.
Lots of early music, wasn't there? Wasn't that terrific? All the early music.
Well,
The Tudor music.
King Charles was a great advocate of that sort of stuff, which is great. A bit like Elizabeth I, of course, a great advocate of that sort of music, just harking back to his ancestor. So we'll have the other hymn, which is Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven. Just trying to think whether they did the 3rd verse upper voices only. Because I find that quite a naff thing, actually.
They didn't. They did it all full.
Good. I think they should do it all full. I think that verse 3, when it was trebles only, you get a few people in the congregation singing it at lower pitch, but then I just think it's just naff. Please, can we just erase verse 3, the harmony for verse 3? Can everyone sing verse 3? Men, women, boys, girls. Just gets me. Why? Okay. Praise My Soul, the King of Heaven. Then let's have a bit of fun.
Apparently, this was one of Elizabeth II's favourite hymns.
Did she have it at anything recently?
I don't know, but it was one of her favourite hymns.
She had a good taste, didn't she? Really. When we did our tributes and stuff for her passing, there was a lot of music that we got through. Right, here we go. Have we got all the stuff? We haven't got all the stuff. Oh, don't want those. I want that. I don't want that. You ready? Are you ready? Let's go. Praise my soul, the King of Heaven there. Fantastic. Right, I think we just had a request from Nigel Gunn, W8IFF. And have we ever had, I don't know the answer to that question. Can, tune
I didn't know Roger Quilter wrote a hymn tune.
No,
he
I
wrote
didn't.
songs, didn't he? Song
What's in this
cycles and
beautiful song? I don't know whether it's going to be in a hymn book. I think we might have to park that one until next week. Let me just chance it to see whether it's in this hymn book. I don't think it will be in here. No, we'll have to just park that, Nigel, until next week.
Do you know the name of the tune, Nigel? That would really help us if you know the name of the quilted tune. All hymn tunes tend to have a name. That would be really helpful.
Oh, that's right. Those are the. Oh, sorry, I was looking for that as the tune name. Yeah, we'll park it, and then we're actually going to finish now by having a little duet with me and thee. Come on.
Have you got the music?
Well, yes, but how's your sight reading?
Oh, it's tremendous.
Are you going to fit?
Tremendously bad.
Are you going to fit in there? Are you sure? Right, so no messing around this time.
Vivats?
No.
You've got to.
What do you mean we've got to? Why?
Oh, you've got to.
No, not today.
But what?
No, because it's not appropriate.
Okay.
I don't know. No.
No Vivats.
I can't even play them. Let's see.
I can get the Vivats.
See how the
from
mood
yesterday.
takes us.
We need to get the correct Vivats, wouldn't we? Because the rhythms would be changed. Gina Camilla, Rex Carolus. They're different. You're outdated in that copy. Old news now.
Oh, where is it then?
I don't know.
Well, that's brilliant, isn't it? You can't just magic it out of thin air, can you? We haven't got anything because I'm using the iPad. I'm using the phone because my camera's bust. I've actually got 2 broken cameras now. Would you believe it? So we're going to have to start buying new cameras. No, don't worry. We'll have to just do it next time. Because your Surface takes ages to boot up. It's just all going to go horribly wrong. And before we know it, Hugo's woken up. I'm going to have to call the whole thing off. We could just do it like that. Just.
I'm not going to sing them in. Sorry. That. I think we should. We should do the Vivats.
Yes, but look, I can't. I got a feeling it was Westminster Abbey posted them.
Yeah, they did.
Well, let me have a quick look then.
I'll get them on my phone because you actually don't need a different thing, do you? Your chords are the same. It's just the rhythms.
It's not there. Oh heavens!
Hang on.
Is it on Westminster Abbey Facebook page? Oh, I don't know. We've got loads of people watching. Can't someone just send it to us?
Yeah, I've got it. Found it.
Yeah, but is it? How easy is it going to be? Because it's tiny.
It's
tiny.
You don't need it. I just need it.
What do you mean you just need it? Well, what am I going to do? Just sit here twiddling my thumbs?
Music score. No, because your chords are the same. It's my bit that's different.
No, it's not. It's completely different. Like the rhythms are different and stuff. I don't know when to plonk those chords down. Like that.
That's too small.
Oh, no, well, it's utterly ridiculous, isn't it? But oh look, now we've got Nala here. Oh God. What? How? Oh, it's just completely different.
Oh, is it? Why don't you play Crown Imperial and I'll print it? That was Nala.
Right.
Why don't you play Crown Imperial and I'll go and print it?
I'm not playing Friend Imperial.
Why not?
I don't know. I haven't practiced it. Look, this is just now. It's all gone wrong now.
Come on then. Let's do this.
You throw too many things into the pot and then it just wrecks it.
Right, I'll go and print it.
See?
I'll go and
Doesn't
print
she?
the
Oh no.
I'm saying you should play this because Ian Garden made a joke earlier in the chat. He said Elizabeth I liked Walton.
Go on, clear off. Get it sorted. Oh my days.
get the joke
It's just
about,
ridiculous. I'm going to stop playing.
While Richard studies the Vivats, Nala's come to say hello to her fans across the
Completely
world.
different, isn't it?
Here she is, Nala. That was very good. So I'm glad you played that. You played it for Elizabeth I, apparently, because she liked Walton. She was ahead of her time, wasn't she? Wasn't she ahead of her time, Nala? Actually, I really enjoyed the Walton Coronation Te Deum yesterday. That was superb. It was really good. That was probably, for me, that was the standout. And it was all brilliant. But I think that the Walton was very, very exciting. What do you think? Have you pressed General Cancel? Because Nala's about to jump on your manuals.
Well, let's just see what happens. Let's just see what happens.
Nala, come on,
Right.
Nala. Better go, Nala. So which manual am I on? The top one?
What do you mean? What are you doing? What are you doing?
The tune in the choir.
The tune in the choir. Okay. Well, that one, I think. You have to do it down there.
Okay. And what about when we go into the quiet bit? Do I still stay on that manual?
Which quiet bit?
Oh, pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Oh no.
I do the tune there too.
Oh.
Will you sort me out with a quiet stop?
All right,
or-
fine. I'll give you a quiet stop. Yeah, I'll give you a quiet stop. I Was Glad by Parry. Let's go.
Oh.
You were saying that was on that bar.
Yeah, because
You
it was FF. I said, no, go to FF there.
It was all over the shop. All over
And
the
then
place.
you thought
Yeah.
that big chord.
Well, I wanted to play that big chord.
Because you were doing the Elizabeth II version. You used to read what's on the page. Richard thought he knew how the Vivax went, but they changed it.
Yeah. But I don't like not knowing what to do. And that chord is not. Have they taken that chord out then in the new edition?
No, it's just later. It's syncopated and it's later. I think. Look. So where are we? So look, so you have your King's School Scholars first, and then that's it, isn't it? Is that the chord?
Well,
but it's syncopated and it's.
That's sort of that bit there, isn't it? Oh well. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it?
I think you have to wait for the King's
Because this bit
Scholars
is hard
of
at the best
Westminster.
of times, and it's not.
I know, and you
not
don't
knowing,
ever play it.
having the clue what to do, where to go, or anything. There's like paper all over the place. Some of it's in landscape, some of it's in portrait.
Well, that's just the way it came from the Westminster Abbey website. I printed that directly from.
Yeah. Oh my days.
So we should have rehearsed that. And to make matters
They
worse,
was
I
rehearsed.
got
It was-
distracted because we've got Hugo's little screen here. And
was
he
seamless.
sat up in his bed halfway through. I thought,
Well,
oh
I'm not
no.
surprised. You probably thought, what on earth's going on down there? Woke him up. Not surprised, didn't it? Hey? They all thinking,
luckily-
what on earth's going on in there?
Luckily, he went back down to sleep.
Well, yeah, he thought, I'm not listening to that rubbish.
Oh, dear.
No, well, I must admit, I can't, because
Well,
it was
Jim
such...
said congrats
It
on
was,
the Vivax.
it was such an emotional, powerful time yesterday when they were in the procession. I couldn't remember how it went. I obviously watched it and heard it, but it was like, wow, I can't remember.
I think the big chords that you wanted to plonk are there, but they're syncopated this year.
Anyway.
The 2023 version is a bit syncopated.
I just saw something come up on the screen. Jerry. Oh, Jerry gave me 50. Thank you very much, Jerry. Thank you for that. I have to give you a refund, I think.
There were fingers and thumbs everywhere. You were changing thumb pistons and I was trying to play the notes and it was all busy. Lots going on.
Anyway, come on. Let's call it a night before anything else happens. So thank you all so much for joining. Apologies that it's just got so out of hand. But this is VC. You know, it starts off very sensibly and gradually, when she comes down, it just goes out the window.
Erin said it sounded fabulous, and Erin knows what she's talking about. She's an organist, so there.
If you say so. Right, so thank you all so much for your company tonight, and of course thank you very much for everyone who's been donating and contributing and all of that sort of stuff. If you do fancy buying my new arrangement of Zadok the Priest, I started tonight's virtual church with it. I've got it on my shop, and it looks like this. A very handsome fellow on the front. No, not me. There he is. That's him dressed as the Prince of Wales. But it's a very nice picture. And it's actually probably one of the easier arrangements of this piece that you can probably find. But actually, it contains all of the excitement, as you hopefully heard by now from my recording that I put online the other day. On the shop, 10 quid, and it's yours. Cool. Anything else?
I think while we're ahead. If we're still ahead.
We were never ahead. We were never ahead. I was mad, I think, more. Anyway, let's go. Let's go quick.
It's all right, you won't have to play the Vivax again for another
Let's run away.
30 years.
Let's run away.
You'll be fine.
Good night, everyone. Good night, Goofy. Good night, Ralph. Good night, Garrett. Good night, Daniel. Matt. Endless Song. So many people to say good night to. It's been good. It's been great fun. It has. It really has. Even though it's chaos, it's always great fun. It's always a laugh. And that's the main thing, isn't it? It's always
Carmen
good
says
fun.
we never disappoint. So there you
Yeah, but that could literally
go.
mean
Comedy.
Yeah.
We never disappoint with the comedy.
Good night, everyone. You take care. You stay
Bye.
safe, and hopefully
Cheerio.
we'll see you next week, unless something happens down here.
Unless they all switch off.
Yeah, it's entirely possible, isn't it? Please don't.